Personally, I think that no one has done a better job in this decade of having quality releases than our buddies at ATO Records. And Steve, you were very involved with David Gray there, and also obviously very involved with My Morning Jacket there. Can you explain the dynamic of how Dave Matthews ended up birthing this label and how you got involved and kind of what's their formula to success? Why do I know that if it's on ATO Records, I'm going to like it? The Wigs, again.
I think it comes from the top right there. Dave Matthews decided at one stage of the game that he wanted to be a useful benefactor to artists that might not otherwise have an opportunity to release their music and have it tastefully promoted and marketed. And I don't think at the beginning of it, it was much more than there's people that I like, they deserve to have a better platform. The two guys that he tasked with running the operation for them were people that had been within his management company, one of whom had been his tour manager. And they basically started with this David Gray record, which was an existing record. David had made 2 or 3 albums. I had met up with David and given him a little bit of money just to continue to record demos and keep in touch with me. He wound up making an entire record. And one thing led to another, made an entire record with it. The label that I was with at the time didn't see the value of it. They were free to put the record out. They put the record out in Ireland, where it took hold fairly rapidly. ATO was just starting. There was a bit of a perfect storm opportunity for ATO to pick up an existing record made by an artist that they previously were fond of and had supported and taken on tour with them. So ATO had a distribution deal because Dave was signed to RCA. BMG were RCA's distributor, so Dave got distribution services, not label services. That is to say, there was no record company within BMG that at that time was providing publicity, radio promotion, various forms of marketing, other support services. Because of my involvement with David in funding what became that record and my then standing at RCA, we were able to come together via that project down the road a little bit and then turn the ATO-BMG relationship into an ATO-RCA relationship. And it was two-pronged. ATO could sign artists that they self-funded. In other words, Dave Matthews and the management company funded these recordings. And then there was another tier where RCA could elect to be involved with the bands. They signed a young artist named Ben Queller, who had a band called Radish, who was signed when he was 14 or 15 years old. Made a record or two. Things didn't go the way he had hoped. He retrenched, made a solo record. The ATO guys really liked Ben. That was going to be their next release. I had known Ben from the time he was a teenager and was at RCA, obviously, at the time, and so why don't we work on that together? My Morning Jacket was a band that I had seen and fallen in love with and was on the way to signing, and the ATO guys said we liked them too, so we made an accommodation for us all to come together. It was a case of disparate agendas, but a shared need for what their cachet was in a certain part of the culture and what RCA could provide in terms of human and financial resources. And these are just some of the ways.
And now they're the biggest indie record label out there with the new Radiohead record, and they're also releasing this new My Morning Jacket record. Should be a massive record for that band this year.
But it's really an artist's point of view that started the whole thing. It's an artist giving back and always making sure that the taste employed was right. And it's like what Gary's saying about the quality of the music will guide whatever generational shifts there are, and there will always be these firebrand moments, and Arcade Fire was a bit of one a couple of years ago. But I never liked the fact that people bemoan the general state of the music business or the record business, because it comes in waves, and when the great moments come along, people respond to them. When there's a malaise in whatever momentary dip in the creative cultural outburst there is, the times will follow that.